Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Autumn Leigh at Home. I'm Autumn Leigh, and today we are going to be getting our flower beds ready. At least I hope so, because I am working on seeds and trying to decide what all I want to plant as far as seed-wise. We have this beautiful GreenStalk right here, and I'm hoping to fill it with herbs and lettuce. My puppy, who is running around right now, loves to eat my vegetables and fruit. If you have a dog, please give me all the tips that you can as far as getting your animals to stay away from your food. So because he's in the backyard and this GreenStalk is in the backyard, and I can link this in the description below, but I need to figure out stuff I can plant in here that he won't mess with. So I'm thinking peppers, lettuce, and maybe some herbs, but we'll see. But for now, for today, I'm going to go ahead and get started cleaning this out, as well as some of my other tomato plants that I just never cleaned out in the fall. I got a little lazy, so we're gonna do that today. If you're like me and you're starting to think about your garden now that it's looking beautiful outside, today was absolutely gorgeous, and I really enjoyed getting to get out in the warm weather and start getting ready for our season of growing. And to do that, I asked myself 3 questions. The first question being, what do we eat most, or what do I cook with most? Second question was, what, when I go to the store, is most expensive out of the things that we eat and buy the most? Third question is, what space do I have to work with? And those questions kind of build off of each other. And you need to ask yourself each of those questions, because that's how you're going to determine what seeds to start with. Now, obviously, everybody has different goals. My goal is to try to really grow stuff that we can utilize and that we eat often. I don't have a lot of space, mainly because if I try to grow anything in the backyard, my dog eats all of it. He ate all of our he's tried to eat our spicy peppers, but he ended up not touching them after eating 1 or 2. And so those actually grew really well in the backyard. So that was one of the things I was thinking of putting in the GreenStalk. However, this entire GreenStalk, except for the very top row, was all strawberries, and they grew beautifully. The plants were wonderful. I absolutely love this GreenStalk. It is fantastic for people like me who tend to kill things in pots. I don't do so well with pots. I'm going to try in ground this year and sowing my own seeds, and we'll see how well that goes. But for people that really struggle with growing things in pots, this GreenStalk, all you have to do is water it in the top, and then when you start seeing water come out the bottom, you stop. And it is just so dummy proof as far as watering is concerned, and that's something that I really struggle with, is either over watering or not watering enough. However, so this year, I'm going to try to grow things in this GreenStalk that my dog will not eat. The strawberries, he ate all of them, absolutely all of them. As soon as they started turning red, he ate them. And so we only got to enjoy a few of them, even though if he had not done that, I really believe we would have gotten a beautiful strawberry harvest. And at the very top of that, I grew different herbs, and I would like to do that again this year. So I'm trying to utilize the space I have, again, asking myself, what is something that we use often? And herbs is something that we definitely use often, that I cook with them all the time. I have the dehydrator, so I can dehydrate them. If you don't have one of those, you can also either let them air dry dehydrating them, or put them in the oven. Those are two ways I have also seen other people do it. However, for me, I have the dehydrator, and that is a way that I can definitely save money, especially basil. We use so much basil because my kids love tortellini, as well as I use the pesto when we make pesto out of the basil. We can use that for pizzas. We can use that for pastas. We use that very often. So that was something that I was able to save a lot of money on, as well as dill and oregano. Just different herbs that we use often is something that I plan to do in the GreenStalk. So that not only is answering the question of what is something we use often, but they also are pretty expensive when you buy them dried already from the store. And then thirdly, the space that we use, or utilizing the space, I want to utilize this GreenStalk for things that my dog will not eat. Other than that, I have this space along the side of my house because I have to grow outside of my fenced-in backyard so that my dog doesn't eat it. I am going to try to utilize a wasted space. If you live in the suburbs like me, definitely give me a thumbs up down below. I'm utilizing space that not many people can see because it's the side of my house that doesn't get a lot of
sight from the road, like eyesight from the road. I don't want to mess up my curb appeal necessarily, but I do want to utilize the space that I have. And to do that, I'm going to plant my tomatoes as well as some carrots. And I'm going to try to companion plant this year. I've done that in the past with my tomatoes and green beans. I was able to plant the green beans right next to the tomatoes and have them vine up the tomatoes and the tomato trellises, or tomato cages. However, I noticed with that one in particular, it kind of caused some shade for the tomatoes, and I don't want that for my tomatoes this year. So this year, my companion planting, I'm going to attempt to do carrots in between my tomatoes and see how that does. I don't want my carrots to have to compete with the tomato bushes as far as roots and all of that. However, we'll see how it goes. Again, I'm trying to utilize the space that I have and be creative with that space. And you guys will come along with me on that journey to determine whether it actually will go well or not. We will see together.
Okay, so I planted in November, I planted a bunch of garlic, and there were flower bulbs here in the fall when I planted them. I think I was November maybe. And the garlic is coming up beautifully. It's hopefully putting on heads now soon. However, obviously I missed quite a few flower bulbs. So I'm gonna see if I can easily pull them up and maybe just relocate them. This one I'll have to get later because it's just so big, and I'm sure it's going to be beautiful flowers. However, I don't want it competing with the dirt for my garlic, because if the garlic is competing too much and it doesn't feel like it can grow, then I'll get really small bulbs, and I'm already a little nervous about that because we have red clay. So I'm going to go ahead and try to pull up a couple of these and see if we can get them up easily. But maybe not. There we go, there's one. Got one. So this is the flower bulbs, and we're gonna see if we can relocate them because I don't want my garlic to have to compete for this space. See, I have it, they're kind of coming up in between my garlic. So that's a really nice big garlic. And then this one is a flower bulb, so let's see if we can get it up. We'll see if we can relocate these. Sometimes it's a little hard to tell if it's garlic or if it's flower. I think that's a flower. Yeah, that looks like a flower. The ones that have flower heads on them right there, you see it? You can tell that those are flowers, but the others, sometimes when they don't have a flower on them already, it's a little hard to tell. So that gives us a little more room. And then this big pile right here, I'll have to just get those up once we get the garlic up. But the garlic, see, is getting really, it's growing pretty big, so I'm really excited about that. We'll have at least a little bit of a harvest of garlic this year. I kept going back and forth on whether I should let those decompose in the flower bed or if I should just throw them away. And I think I'm gonna throw them away, because if I let them decompose in the flower bed, it's already so close to spring. I'm afraid that the roots will start having to compete for the space in the flower bed, because I don't think these are gonna have enough time to decompose enough to give it the nutrients anyway. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of them this year. If I had wanted to let them decompose in the flower bed, then I think I probably should have put these beds to rest in the fall rather than right now. So that's just something, again, we're all learning, and that's something that I think I will try to do next year. I found this in my garage, and I actually ended up finding 2 of these. Don't eat it, Tucker. I ended up finding 2 of these, and I think I'm going to try to use this. I was going to hopefully buy some organic fertilizer this year. However, I don't feel right spending money on something when I already have something in the garage that I can use. So I think I'm going to try to utilize this up as well as the other bottle of it before spending more money on another fertilizer when this is perfectly good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not organic. And I thought I would go ahead and maybe give all of these a little sprinkle because we're going to be planting here very shortly. And that way we can go ahead and maybe start fertilizing the soil ahead of time. And that way it's ready to go once I plant stuff. And I can always add more later if I need to. We are all ready for spring. We need to mow our grass, and then I'm gonna have my husband blow off the rest of this once it dries, because I didn't realize how much water the pots had in the bottom of them. And I tracked that all through my house. So now I need to go clean my floors, but that's okay. We got this all ready, we're set. And once it's time to start planting seeds, we are ready to go. And today is such a beautiful day. I enjoyed being out here today with Lucy and Tucker here. I'm just gonna add the same thing to the outside, just kind of sprinkle them among the garlic here, as well as along here, because I'm hoping to plant some more plants out here again in the spring. I'm thinking I'm gonna put my green beans right here on a trellis. And then over here, I'm hoping to put a bunch of tomato plants. So we're just gonna go ahead and kind of sprinkle this along here. And that way it's ready to go once I start planting. Hey everybody, I'm back inside. I feel a lot better. I cleaned up a good bit. I am looking through this seed packet that I bought a year or two ago. So I'm a little nervous that I'm not gonna have great germination off of this, but I'm looking through my seed packet to try to decide which seeds I want to do. Here's what I'm working with, and this is the container that I happen to already have on hand. And so I'm just gonna kind of pull from this bag of things that are already here that I already have and utilize those so I'm not wasting them. However, there are some things that did not come in here, like green beans. I was a little surprised that there were no green beans in there. So I will still supplement for the things that I know that weren't in here that I know I want. However, it did come with a good amount of things, but because I'm so limited on my space, I wanted to utilize the space that I have for the things I know that we'll eat often. There are things that I would love to try. Ooh, I didn't see the cilantro. I do want that one though. So I'll put that up there with those. But there are things in here that I would love to try growing at some point, like broccoli. We eat a lot of broccoli, a lot. My kids love broccoli, especially roasted. And so I would have loved to grow this, but because it is such a large plant for such little yield, it just wasn't worth my space take up. I didn't want to utilize my space for that. There are many, many other options here. And again, cucumbers were something that I was tempted to grow, but because we don't eat a ton of cucumbers, I'm still may plant these. Oops, that's upside down. I may still plant these. I haven't fully decided, but I think I'm kind of shying away from that because again, space, I would rather go for the green beans, but we eat pickles and fresh cucumbers. And so that's tempting to do. These other ones, especially corn, I just don't have the space for it. Up here are the ones that I'm hoping to plant from this packet, and that is the cilantro. I can put in the GreenStalk. And then peppers, I was thinking the Collie Wonder pepper, it looks like a bell pepper. So I'm thinking of planting that in the GreenStalk as well. And then carrots out by the house. And then here's spinach for the GreenStalk, lettuce for the GreenStalk, and kale. So I'm gonna utilize the GreenStalk for all of these except for the carrots. And that way we can try to get an abundant harvest off of the GreenStalk as well. And then these I will save for at some point in the future. Hopefully we'll still get to use them. I'm hoping that they don't go bad by the time I can use them, because seeds only are really good for a few years, I believe. Now, if I'm wrong, definitely comment below, because I could totally be wrong on that. But I want to say seeds, usually the longer you have them, the less of a germination rate that you have. And germination rate just means that the seed actually starts to grow a plant. And obviously with my efforts and the little space that I have, I want everything to be successful as much as possible. So we are gonna hope that the ones that I have still work out and save these for another day, and we'll go from there. There are 3 questions I'm asking myself this year. I'm asking myself, what do I eat most often or cook with most often? And a lot of that is carrots. There's some space that I don't have for certain items. So that's the first question, is what am I eating most often or cooking with most often? Second question is, when I go to a store, how much does that item cost? Is it a more expensive item? Is it not so expensive? And then my third question I'm asking myself is, what space am I working with? I don't have a lot of space. I'm in the suburbs. We are zone 8, but I'm kind of on the borderline of zone 8 and zone 7, or 8A and 7B. So I'm kind of playing with the timing of the season, and I will be the first to say I'm not the best gardener at all. My sister got all of those genes, but practice makes perfect, and I am learning something every year, and I want you guys to learn with me. So if you are an avid gardener, please put all of your tips and tricks down below. If you're in the suburbs and like me, just trying to work with the space that you have, give me a thumbs up. We can work on it together. We're here to encourage each other and learn from each other and try to help each other grow in this department. I am learning that pots are not my best thing, so I'm gonna try in the ground and see if that's a little bit better. If not, then again, we're gonna learn together and grow, and that will be completely fine. However, I will say I love my GreenStalk. That has been absolutely amazing. Something I struggle with is whether I'm watering too much or too little the plants, and I tend to either overwater or not water enough, and that's something that I just really struggle with. So the GreenStalk, I haven't had any problems with that. I fill it up. Once I see water coming out the bottom, I stop watering, and everything that I planted in there did fantastic, apart from the fact that my dog kept eating everything. I don't have a huge patio. I have the side of my house. Thankfully, our HOA isn't super strict, so that's something to consider too. And we're able to work with that. I can't plant anything in the backyard, so that kind of restricts me because I don't want to completely overload my front yard with fruits and vegetable plants or herbs or anything like that. I still want it to be cosmetically pretty, or have good curb appeal. However, the side of my house, very few people can see, and so I'm going to utilize that space, because if I were to try to plant anything in the backyard, again, my dog would eat it, which limits me a whole lot. So those are the 3 questions you can ask yourself. That's what I'm working with this season, and I want to ask you guys to join me. I would love for you to join me. If you are an avid gardener, please stick around and share all those wonderful tips that you have for us. I would love to hear them. This community would love to hear them. If you're new to gardening, I am too. I've been practicing and learning a little bit every year for the past couple years, and we're going to continue to grow that skill, and we can grow together. I just wanted to take this time to say thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you're learning something new. I am as well, and I hope that we can go on this journey together. Please like, subscribe, and share down below, and I will see you guys next time.